One of the first things that you're going to have to do as an REO broker for lenders is a BPO. For the people that are pure commercial, you've probably never heard of that term, or you think of MAI appraisals. Okay? A BPO is a broker price opinion. It's very similar to an appraisal, although you're not bound by the same rules that appraisers have. And you can look at and heavily weight listings instead of just closed sales in your value. But there are a lot of conditions on what, how you do that BPO. And for that BPO, you need some data sources. Most of the data sources that most of the people are aware of are like the local MLS systems, and a lot of the smaller commercial stuff is in there. But there are three basic data sources which are very powerful that we were going to actually try to bring one of them here tonight on a live feed to the CoStar people to show you what they've got available for you. But we're running late. We're probably going to run 11 o'clock or maybe 11:30 tonight, so we had to cut that out. We are going to bring them to you, but I'm just going to briefly go through them and tell you my judgment after looking at all three of these sites and talking to their vice president that want to sell them to us and our members. The first one is CoStar, and that's probably the biggest and best known. It is expensive. It's about $1,000 a month. If you get a bulk discount, James, what are you guys paying for your group? $600 a month or something when you get 10 or more? 700 per, and you get, it's 700 a person or 700 for five? One person.
It's like 400 a county, Orange County.
Orange County, 400. Okay. So, but it's still pretty expensive to have that access. But that access has got all your comps and a lot of information that you have never seen in an MLS system. It'll just blow you away of what they've got. They claim to have 1,000 people collecting data from MLS systems and talking to brokers and confirming lease rates. And I say it's scary, this big brother, the information they have. And they're the biggest and the best known. But there's two others that have a unique niche market. It's a big market, but it's a niche market. One is called RealPoint, and you can go there, realpoint.com. And basically, again, it's $10,000 a year or something to have a password to it. Their claim to fame is that they do evaluations for the CMB market. Okay, so if anybody got a loan and it was securitized and sold through the commercial mortgage-backed securities, that information is public information because they have to give them their quarterly income statements as part of their loan that got securitized. And that information is all collated by RealPoint, and they have all kinds of awesome information, and they'll tell you what the income is in a particular building. And then they'll tell you if some of it's going to be subleased and how much is actually not only the vacancy factor, but I forgot the term they use, but it's, if stuff has been master leased and they're releasing it, they'll tell you what the effective vacancy factor is. And they have all this income information. But again, they're very expensive. A third one, which may address more, I didn't get your name, but the woman over here that asked about, do we know what's actually being foreclosed or whatever in California? And the company is Real Property Analytics. I think it's rpanalytics.com. Again, it's about $40,000 for a national account, and I think you get 5 passwords for that, but they have 10,000 just for California. That's a year. And what they have done is that not only do they track the foreclosure properties, they put out a lot of reports, as does CoStar that he has, and but they actually track it by the property. So they can tell you that they have these different categories. They say this property is a potentially troubled asset, or it's a troubled asset, or it's in foreclosure. And so if you have access to there, they can tell you what properties are in California or your city that are actually, there's an NOD been filed. They can tell you if the loan is coming due in the next 3 years and it was purchased, say 2 or 3 years ago, they know that not only is there not money available to finance that, they know the property is probably upside down and it's not going to be financeable. So they call those potentially troubled assets. They also have assets which they have troubled assets where somebody has actually filed an NOD on the property, or one of their major tenants has bombed on them, like Circuit City. So anything that had a Circuit City, that's going to be a troubled asset. If it's a large corporate owner, which a lot of these regional shopping centers, what is it, General Growth, I guess, just filed bank, was it General Growth? Yeah, just filed bankruptcy. They track all those. So if General Growth, they had all the General Growth properties, and they called them trouble asset, because General Growth was in default on some of their properties, they're saying if they're already in default on some of them, this one over here might be fine, but the company might be in trouble, which turns out they are. So they're saying all of their properties are trouble assets. So they have these foreclosure properties, potentially foreclosure properties, trouble assets, potential trouble assets, and you can get them by city, state, zip, whatever you want, or the whole United States. And so with their system, you can work it backwards. You can work it from a property level and work backwards. And in their system, because one of their biggest clients, and most of their clients, are not real estate brokers, they're hedge funds, they're lenders. And so they've actually got a list of all their asset managers, although they call them special servicers. They've actually got a list of all their special servicers, and they will help us to make contact with those special servicers if we use their system. So we've looked at all of these. They all know the potential of our association and our membership, and they want to do business with us. So we've kind of started negotiations with them. They haven't given us the kind of deal we think that our members deserve. But again, realize last month we only had 50 members. So we're figuring we'll just stay in touch with them. By the time we get to maybe 500 members, then we'll start getting serious about trying to cut some kind of a deal for our membership and trying to work some kind of bulk deal for those of you that want to get access. And I suggest that we all have some way have access to some of those things.